Hi everyone, I thought today we would finish this lighthouse picture from Lost Ocean. Now I'd already finished this side of the page in the last video, and I did some work on this side in between videos. So what I did was I did all the coral details using exactly the same technique as here. And I did the plants as well, using the same colours as we had used. Oops, wrong way. I shall zoom in and just show you some more details. So I did the coral, the rocks in brown, and the plants. So these plants are in the phthalo green, these ones. This one is in the viridian, and this one is in the terra verde. So I did that, and I did all these in the same way as we did the coral on the other page. So what I had decided was I'll do all those details that we know how to do. We've done several times before in videos, so we didn't need to repeat. And I thought I would come on and just do the creatures and the galleon on video on the last video. So to start with, we have the fish. And I always like to do my fish in an orange, like a goldfish colour. Now, I do sometimes try and stray away from that, but because we've got all these blues and purples and greens here, I think they would stand out quite nicely. So I've grabbed my cadmium orange, and I've got this Venetian red as well, which we might want for some details. So I'm going to do that for the fish. I am going to try and zoom you in a little bit more. I'm not sure how sharp it will be. Ooh, I think that's pretty good. I'm not sure we need to go in any closer than that. And we have got this sort of arch of fish. Actually, let's go out so we can just see all the fish. There we go. I think that's all of them. Oh no, there's a couple more at the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to use the orange. So as I said, it's the cadmium orange to do all of the fish. And I'm just going to do the whole of all the fish in this colour without doing any shading or anything. I do need to sharpen it. Just grab my sharpener, put it away because it's first thing in the morning. I tidied my desk last night, and I put everything away because I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing today, if I was going to be finishing off this one or not. Now while I'm colouring in these little fish, I'm thinking about whether I'm going to add any darker details to them anywhere. At the moment I'm thinking no. I realise I'm colouring right over the eye and everything of the fish. Now I'm holding my book open quite hard at the spine to get into these details. Now do be careful. I've got a UK edition. It's sewn as well as glued. So even if the gluing comes a bit loose, the book stays together. I know that some countries' binding isn't quite so reliable, and it can break open if you force the book too far open. So do be aware and do be careful. I do have a US edition of Magical Jungle, and some of my pages are already coming loose, which is a little annoying, but I knew that was a risk because I know about the book. So just be careful with your book. Now if you want the fish to have a little black eye, rather than trying to get that with a pencil, because it's so small, I would actually grab a pen, like a black fine liner or a black sort of any sort of pen really. I wouldn't use a biro or something like that, you know, a ballpoint, but just grab something. I'll show you. You know, something like this, like an upside down pigment liner, something like that to do the eyes. I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it because I know if I do any black on this page, I'm going to smudge it everywhere, because I'm like that yesterday. Making videos. You may have seen it. I'm not sure if it's gone out yet. I was making one on where I used some green Posca metallic pen, and I splidged it all over my fingers, which was great fun. It makes me, I quite like getting messy in a way, as long as I don't ruin my book, which is always a risk. So now we've done all those in the orange, with the larger fish I am going to add some darker details with the Venetian red. Now you could do this with the smaller ones as well if you're that way inclined, if you feel that you want to add a little more. Now what I tend to do with fish is make it darker at the bottom, because I figure that's where the shadow will be. They would be darker down here, because the light would come in through the top of the water. However, you don't have to do it that way, because obviously I'm going to go back to the orange now and go over that and blend it into this and press a bit harder to get a nice definite colour. You know, you don't have to do it that way. It's completely up to you how you do your colouring on your fish. I find fish quite tricky. Never quite sure what colour to do them. I am just going to grab something else to sharpen and I will enlighten you. I'm going to grab this one. This is the Naples yellow. I'm going to go over these details. Quite often I do the fins and the tail in a darker colour, so for a change I'm going to go over them with a lighter colour. It should warm them up a little bit and just deepen the orange a bit, but make it look a little bit different. And you could do that on the tail of the little fish. I don't know if it's really going to stand out. Now we've got all these little dots around the fish, this sort of bubbles. Now if you can do a background, you might want to leave those white, but I'm not going to do a background on this, I have decided. So let's just put those pencils away. So I'm going to do them blue, like the water. I'm just looking at the colours of the water and thinking about which one of the blues I will use. I think I'm going to use the ultramarine light. I think that was the blue I used for these swirly bits. I'm going to use it for the bubbles. So I'm just going to, oh, my nose wants to run. My children are full of colds at the moment and I think it's trying to attack me as well. I'm taking my multivitamins and eating loads of veg and fruit and veg and things like that, but sometimes you just can't escape these things. But we'll see. Trying. I do look after myself. I haven't been working this week either, so I've been taking it easy, enjoying my colouring, making lots of videos, which is always lots of fun. And even the editing isn't too bad. I'm not a fan of technology, but I keep my editing so simple, which probably doesn't make for such a good quality video, but otherwise I wouldn't do it because I just can't be doing with editing. So there we go, there's our fish. If you want, you've got these little dots as well. You could go over those. I can't do it in the pencil, it's going to be too thick. You could use a little gel pen or something, or a fine liner if you've got a similar blue shade, or even a different shade to go over that. Okay, we now have our dolphin. Now I am not sure what colour they are. I'm actually going to go onto my search engine while I'm on, so I can tell you what I do. Look up a picture of a dolphin and look at the colour that it is. Now I'm looking now, we've got light greys and dark greys, so that's quite fun. We have got a light grey and a dark grey here. So we've got, this is a more of a browny grey, the Davies grey, and more of a dark purpley grey, the Payne's grey. Now from the pictures that I can see, the belly area is more of a lighter grey, almost white. So what I'm going to do is start there. This is the Davies grey. Oh, out of focus, sorry. It's because it's focused on the book. And I'm going to put quite a definite line there, do you see? And then fade that out towards the edge, just because sometimes they're quite white on the belly. But I don't want to leave a white stripe as such, but just fade out a little bit like that. And then the top part I will do with my Payne's grey. Now I'm not going to press quite as hard because this is quite a dark colour. I'm going to start with a light layer all over the top, and then I'm going to think about whether I want it darker or not. As I've often said, it's easier to add layers and take them away. So we'll put that on. Of course, actually that's quite light compared to this, so I am going to press a bit harder. In fact, I'm going to sharpen. I find that a sharper pencil is quite useful for providing a darker line. So if you feel that your pencil isn't giving you the depth of colour, try sharpening it. And I realise with some brands they do break quite easily if you get them too sharp, and it can make it a little bit difficult. But it's just a matter of trial and error with different brands. I'm going to leave this bit white because I think that is supposed to be like a reflection line, because obviously dolphins are often shiny, they're wet and they reflect the light. So I'm going to leave that white and do these little fins. I don't know if they're called fins on the dolphin. I guess so. I think the eyes are black. I've got a bit of black on the eye. Maybe I'll leave that bit white so it stands out a little bit more. Just trying to even out that colouring there and do this fin. Now if you want any shadow details on this, you can use some black. I'm just going to grab the black. This is I've got an ivory black in this Seascape set, which I've been using, so I didn't say at the beginning, but this is the Seascape set that I've used throughout. So I'm making that one a bit darker, it's a little bit further away, do you see? And then maybe a little detail at the end of the tail there. Just a little bit of there. I think that'll do for our dolphin. It's quite simple, isn't he? It's quite cute. Now we have a turtle. Oh, we've got the bubbles around the dolphin. Again, I'm going to use the same colour, the ultramarine light, like we did around the fish. I'm not staying in the lines very well. I'm sure you can do a better job than I can. There we go. And now I'm going to move my book along, and here we've got the turtle. Now we've got a lot of little dots and circles, which I am again going to do with the ultramarine light. So I'm going to do those first, just because I've got the pencil in my hand. So we just do that bit. Now the turtle, I'm not too sure of the colour. I'm going to just do the same again, go pop onto my search engine and look up turtle. See, I think we will want some browns. Quite brown, some of them. Some of them are a little bit greener. Okay, we're going to start with the shell, I think, and do some browns. Actually, I think what I will do is I'm going to take my burnt umber, which is the same colour we used for the stones, incidentally, and do a light layer all over the shell. And then I'm going to pick out some details with the lighter brown, and then he won't look like a rock, hopefully. Now I've got the pencil on its side a little bit, so I can just get a gentle layer. I'm holding it a little bit further up rather than right by the nib, so that I can just gently wipe it over the page without pushing too far into the tooth of the paper. So there is our gentle layer, and then I'm going to grab the sepia and pick out some details. My first detail will be, let's do some of these. I'm thinking I'm going to do the triangle shapes, some of the triangle shapes, not all of them. I'm just going to sort of do random triangle shapes. And see how we get on. I think it might be fun not to pick out patterns, but just a sort of random detail like that. And then I'm going to go back to my burnt umber and do a few more. I'm going to sharpen it actually now. Now we've done that light layer, I can get away with the sharpening. And I'm going to go around the edge of this sort of rim bit here, just to make it look a bit more like it's not completely flat, like that. And then I'm going to go over the top of these bigger ones with this darker colour, like that, and that one there. I think that'll do for his shell. And now we have to think about what to do for his arms and legs. Now I'm thinking I quite like a greeny coloured turtle, really. Let me look in these pictures though I'm looking at. I can't show you them because I don't know what goes on with copyrights on pictures, and I wouldn't know how to show you them anyway. They all look quite brown, none of them look green. What I'm going to do then is I am going to use a layer of Viridian, but really gentle as a base, and then I'm going to put browns on top, and then he won't look green, and of course he won't blend then into the leaves, but it will just be a different shade of colour. So I think it might just, he'll look a little bit different. So there's his green, like that. And then I'm going to grab the burnt umber to show you, just for those without sound on. I know at least one person that watches without sound. But that's fine. As I said, it's up to you how you watch. I tend to often watch videos without sound. I dislike music. I'm going to do a dark layer around here on videos. However relaxing it might be, it gets on my nerves. I want to pick my own music. I don't want to hear someone else's choice. And I don't really listen to music very much anyway. It's not my thing. So if someone plays music in the background, I just mute it. If they're not talking, it really doesn't matter anyway. I'm going to use the sepia to do the little loopy bits on here and here, but I need to sharpen it. But if someone is talking and they've got music, that troubles me a little, because I can't get rid of the music because I have to listen, because I want to hear them talking. So that's the reason one of the reasons I don't put music on my videos. The other reason is that copyright can be a bit of a problem. I'm never quite sure. There is copyright-free music. My children tell me they use it for their videos. They're Staedtler, they have Minecraft videos. So if your kids like Minecraft, have a look. I know some of you have kindly gone to their channel and liked, subscribed, which is really kind of you. There's our turtle. Because they're always trying to get a few more subscribers. I set them a challenge in the summer holidays to get a lot more subscribers, but they didn't really achieve it very well. I'm going to do a wood base. I'm going to go back to my sepia and do the bottom of the boat. Now, unfortunately, although they made videos, they just didn't seem to pick up subscribers. But I linked to them on my, I think, yeah, it's on my home page in YouTube, like my main channel page. I linked to their videos and my husband's. He hasn't released any for ages. It's funny because the children were doing videos ages before I even considered doing any. And their first ones, they were really little. And then my husband said he was going to start doing some, and I wanted to encourage him with his art. I've gone over the window, I'm just going to rub it out. I've got my trusted Tombow Mono Zero eraser just to rub out there. So I thought if I did a few, it might encourage him to do some. So I did a few and I really enjoyed it. I found what I liked, there were a few things I like about doing them. Firstly, I'm going over some areas in a bit heavier pencil just to emphasise the shape and the shadows on the boat. If you watch, you'll see what I'm doing. So what I enjoyed was that I like to encourage people with art and colouring, because it has been so good for me, and I can see how good it is for so many people, that I feel that it's so beneficial that if I can do something which will help people either sort of get back their mojo if they've lost it, or just encourage them to improve, because I think sometimes people feel they're not good enough, and if you can just have a little bit of instruction, it can help you to feel like you're better. I feel it's quite sad. I think people shouldn't worry about how good they are, but then I do want to improve, but it doesn't make me feel, I don't feel unconfident that I shouldn't do it, that I'm not good enough. I've never felt like that. I just feel like I'm enjoying it and I want to learn how other people do various things. So I've got instructional books and watch videos and things like that. And I also find that when I'm making a video, I do better colouring because you're all watching me. So I need to concentrate and try and do well. So that's a nice thing. So when I finish a piece that I've been filming, I think, wow, you know, I'm really pleased with what I've done normally. I mean, we're all our own worst critics, and there's always things that can be improved in every piece. And I think if we were that way inclined, we could probably look at every single person's colouring and find something that they could improve. But I think we tend to do that most with our own and not with other people. And although we shouldn't be doing it with other people's, this is yellow ochre, we really shouldn't be doing that with our own either. So when you look at your own piece of work, imagine it's someone else's and they said, please, I'm not feeling very happy about this piece. What can I do to, you know, have a look at it and think, well, what you would say to them is you would have a look at it. You would identify the things that you think are their best parts of the page, and those are the bits you would praise them about. You'd say, well, I really like the colours you've used, or this particular bit is great, or this background is good. And you would tend to ignore the bits that you didn't like so much. You need to do that with your own pieces of work as well. Think about the bits that are good. Don't concentrate on the bad, or learn from it. So, you know, I might think, crikey, I've done these sails, they look a bit dirty. I think next time I might do them in a colour so they don't look dirty. You know, that sort of thing. Actually, I'm quite liking this colour, to be fair. But, you know, it's about trying to be positive. And actually, my New Year's resolution, I don't know if this happens in all countries, but on New Year's Eve in the UK, it's an old-fashioned thing that everyone does it. We make a resolution for the year, i.e. what you're going to do. And people might say, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to give up drinking, whatever it might be. And mine, I never normally make them. I think they're silly, you forget them, you know. But mine this year was that I want to help as many people with their colouring to encourage them as possible. And so by making the videos, which I have been doing for over a year now, I hope that I'm helping to do that. Also by going on to social media and liking people's pictures, encouraging them there. I hope that is also useful to people. Now, the rigging, this is this bit. I'm going to go over that in a light grey because although it is see-through, I think there might be more small ropes and things within that rope that Johanna's drawn there. So I just want it to look slightly more opaque. While I've got this grey windows, I'm going to do the windows now. These are very small, so it's quite tricky. I'm going to try a slightly different window technique. Whoops, I just dropped my sharpener. Than I have tried before. I've seen someone else do this and I'm just copying them. I think it was Johanna, actually. So rather than colouring the whole window, the whole of the glass, I just colour the edge of it. It's very hard to say. And then leave some of it white, and that looks like shine on the glass. But because this is quite a small boat, it's not going to show up. You could use a dot of white gel pen to make that stand out, but I'm not sure I want it to be that bright. Now, last, we've got the flags on the top of our galleon. Now we could do them all the same colour, we could do them different colours. I'm going to go for red, just because our lighthouse is red on the other end. So I think it will just tie up with the lighthouse then. So this is the Venetian red, but you could do them any colour. I'm just going to do a light application of this colour across all flags, and then I'm going to think about the shading on them. Because they're bent, if you start with this one, in here, that bit's further back and that's sort of overhanging, it's going to be slightly darker there. Same with this one. and there. I think it might be slightly dark a bit next to the pole or whatever it is. Flaphole? I don't know. There. Okay, so that's our galleon done. I am going to add one final touch to the picture. I'll just zoom out for you so you can see it all. So my zoom is really slow. This camera is designed like that though, so the zoom is slow so it doesn't make you feel sick, which is probably a good thing. So there's our galleon, turtle, dolphin and fish. But I'm going to take us over to the far page. Because I've decided not to do a background, I'm just going to add some light to this lighthouse. This is Naples yellow. We're really zoomed out, you probably can't see. And I'm going to put it within these lines that Johanna has drawn here for us, so that we can actually see that it's very faint. It's hard for you to see because you're zoomed out. And it's quite a browny yellow, this one. I'm going to go over the top of it in a brighter colour. If I can get it out. This is the lemon yellow, and I'm just going to go over the top, and I think that will, yes, stand out more. Now what you could do now, this is what I had considered doing but I've decided not to, I'll explain why in a minute, is you could get a pastel and you could do a sky with a blue and then you could do the sea. But the reason I've decided not to do that with this image, ooh, my pencils are spilling everywhere, is because I think we've got so many blues already in this picture. If I did a blue sky, I think we would lose all this detail. So I'm leaving it. Also, we've got like this piece here fades in the middle. If I go over that with a pastel, it'll fill in that white gap with pastel. You'll lose that. And what colour would I do the sky compared to the sea? You know, so I just decided that I think this stands out on the white background, and I'm just going to leave it like that. So I shall leave you with that view, because that's basically what we've done today. So I hope that's okay. I hope you enjoyed that one. I had really good fun doing that one. I shall pick another one out of Lost Ocean to do soon, but I've got other ones to finish for you, so I'm aware of that. So but I will get back to it. And I've really enjoyed using my Seascape set, which I was very kindly gifted by Alicia. I think that's how you pronounce your name. So I'm really grateful for those, and I absolutely love the colours. They work so well in this picture. So thank you so much. I look forward to using them again in another Lost Ocean picture. Anyway, I'm blathering on. So thank you for watching, and happy colouring.